Scrubs was one of those rare shows that effortlessly bounced between pure insanity, genuine emotion, and heart-wrenching honesty. One minute you're crying with laughter, the next, you're feeling a punch to the heart, often underscored by how to save a life. And let's be honest, Scrubs wasn't just a hospital, it was an emotional roller coaster filled with characters you either adored beyond measure or wanted to send in for a checkup yourself. Welcome to Back on Screen, your channel for nostalgic television. Today, it's all about the 5 most beloved and the 5 most hated Scrubs characters, alternating between the two. We're kicking things off with number 5, and right away, a true classic of chaos. Number 5, most loved Ted Buckland. Poor Ted, the lawyer who somehow never won, not even against the coffee machine. Always slumped over, greasy hair, and a facial expression that screamed, "I want to go home." And yet, he was one of the show's unsung heroes, because despite all the misery, Ted never truly gave up. He was the symbol for everyone who hates their job on Monday mornings but shows up anyway. His a cappella performances with the hospital band? Legendary. And that's exactly what made him so lovable. That tragicomic humor, wrapped up in a man who would have quit a long time ago, if he'd had the courage. Sometimes watching him feels like playing the lottery. You keep losing, but you secretly hope that one day luck will finally strike. And Ted, he's the guy you can't help but root for. Number 5, most hated Jordan Sullivan. Jordan, Dr. Cox's ex-wife, on-again/off-again partner, and the personified raised eyebrow of cynicism. She was sharp, mean, hurtful, and always damn clever. Sure, she had depth later on. We learned that real emotions were hiding behind that facade. But let's be honest, in the early seasons, Jordan was often an absolute menace. That cold, calculating attitude she delivered with a charming smile was pure poison in high heels. You loved her wit, but you hated how she could verbally destroy anyone with a single sentence. Number 4, most loved, Carla Espinosa. Carla was the heart of the hospital. Sure, she could be strict, especially with Turk and JD, but she was the one who kept everyone grounded when all the others completely lost it. She was a mother figure, best friend, wife, and a nurse with backbone and heart. And she had this incredible ability to stand up to even Dr. Cox. Carla represented strength and warmth, without ever becoming cheesy. And that's exactly why we loved her, because in the chaos of Sacred Heart, she was the only one who truly knew what she was doing. Number 4, most hated, the Janitor. Yes, I know, everyone loves him now. But hand on heart, in the early seasons, the Janitor was nothing but a nightmare. His obsessive feud with JD, his bizarre pranks, and his completely unpredictable nature briefly made him the show's true villain. Of course, it was comedy gold, but if you were JD, it was pure hell. He was like the Joker, just with a mop. Later, he became a cult favorite, but up until then, he was clearly the kind of guy you never knew whether to laugh at or run from. Number 3, most loved, Christopher Turk. Turk was the best friend you could possibly ask for. He brought hip-hop into the OR, danced while wielding a scalpel, and was the perfect counterbalance to JD's chaos. Their friendship, Guy Love, was one of the most beautiful and genuine elements of the series. Turk was ambitious, charming, sometimes childish, but always loyal. And even though he often played the role of the funny sidekick, he had real depth, especially in moments when he grappled with issues like masculinity, marriage, or career. Turk was simply good vibes only with a scalpel in hand. Number 3, most hated, Dr. Kelso. Dr. Bob Kelso, the walking synonym for bureaucracy and coldness. He was the face of the system. Ice cold, calculating, always armed with a cruel one-liner. When Kelso showed up in the doorway, you knew things were about to get uncomfortable. He was the kind of guy who put patient charts above people, and that made him incredibly easy to hate. But like almost everyone on Scrubs, he had a tragic side too. When you saw how deeply he loved his wife Enid, or how lonely he really was. Even the hospital villain suddenly gained depth. But loved? No, that was never his role. Number 2, most loved, Elliot Reed. Elliot was a walking bundle of nerves, and yet you just couldn't hate her. She was smart, insecure, over the top, sometimes completely off, but in such a human way that you could see yourself in her. Her constant struggle to be taken seriously as a doctor, her self-doubt, and her stammering confidence made her incredibly relatable. And then there was that on-again, off-again thing with JD, exhausting, yes, but also damn iconic. Elliot was a character who grew, from a clumsy rookie to a confident doctor, and that's what made her one of the most beloved characters on the show. Number 2, most hated Dr. Molly Clock. Okay, controversial, but hear me out. Dr. Molly Clock, played by Heather Graham, was the prime example of a character the show simply didn't need. Too optimistic, too over the top, too perfect, she just didn't fit into Scrubs' bittersweet balance. While everyone else openly showed their flaws, Molly felt like a glittery outsider from a completely different show. Charming? Sure. But when sandwiched between Cox's sarcasm and JD's daydreams, you suddenly get Mary Poppins with a medical degree, you just feel that something's off. Number 1. Most loved Dr. Perry Cox. The cynical, screaming, sarcastic Dr. Cox, and at the same time, the moral heart of Scrubs. No one was as brilliant at making you laugh at yourself while forcing you to think. He was the mentor everyone needed and no one wanted. Behind his anger and mockery was a man with a massive heart and deep emotional scars. His relationship with JD, his monologues, his outbursts that was pure TV magic. Dr. Cox wasn't just the soul of the show, he was Scrubs, a character you understood more and loved more with every season. And honestly, who would have thought that someone who yells that much could also make you laugh, think, and quietly empathize at the same time? Dr. Cox is the reason we keep coming back to hospital TV. Tiffany, just to soak up a little more of his brilliant brutality. Number 1, most hated JD Dorian. Yes, the protagonist himself. The guy who carried us through 8 seasons and still ended up annoying a lot of people along the way. JD was charming, sweet, and naive, but sometimes just too much. Too much daydreaming, too much ego, too many questionable romantic decisions. In the early seasons, he was the heart of the show, but later on, he became a caricature of himself. Many people loved him because they saw themselves in him, but many hated him because he never truly evolved. He was like the class clown who's still telling the same jokes 10 years after graduation. And yet without him, Scrubs would never have become what it was. Whether you loved him or hated him, JD is proof that a single naive daydreamer can bring an entire hospital's chaos to life and make all of us roll our eyes and smile at the same time. Scrubs was never black and white, it was chaotic, emotional, and honest. And that very interplay between humor and melancholy is what made the show so special. Even years later, fans remember not just the jokes, but especially the moments that suddenly became unexpectedly serious. Every character had light and shadow, and maybe that was the secret. At Sacred Heart, there were no perfect heroes or villains, just people trying to survive the madness of life. And that's exactly why the announced 10th season is creating so much excitement right now. Fans are wondering, how have the characters changed after all these years, and will everyone really return? One thing is certain, if we return to Sacred Heart once again, we might see a completely new side of our favorite characters.